1945. On Christmas night in West Virginia, America, an event that still makes the soul tremble to remember, a man named George Sodder was celebrating Christmas with his wife, Jenny Sodder, and their 10 beloved children. Each face, it was bright with happiness, but who knew that this night was going to turn into a bad dream? A night that has become an unsolvable mystery to this day. There is a fire in the house. George and Jenny run out of the house with their 4 children. But the 5 children sleeping in the upstairs room always disappear somewhere forever, with no bones or other traces of their bodies ever found. Were they burnt or kidnapped in the incident? Was the incident an accident, or was it caused by special planning? Viewers, this is not just a story, but a mystery which still amazes the world today. Let's try to understand one aspect of this unsolved history today. George Sodder was a hard-working Italian immigrant who was strongly against the Italian dictator, Benito Mussolini. That is why he was forced to leave Italy and live in America. Speaking openly against the Italian dictator could have been a problem, but he never showed fear. In America, he did trucking business, and fortunately, he also had his own house. And his wife, Jenny Sodder, was a dedicated housewife who took care of her children with love and discipline. 24 December 1945. On Christmas Day, the Sodder children were playing with their new toys. Night falls, and the 5 children in the upstairs room go to sleep in their beds. On night 1 p.m., Jenny feels smoke at home. When he goes to see, it is known that there is a fire in the kitchen. George and Jenny get out of its 4 children. But 5 children are needed in the above room. The George ran all the efforts to save them when the George Sodder ran to the widow of Sodond Foror. So he saw that his ladders disappeared from his place. He thought he used to reach his window by using his coal truck, but when the ignition was not even a star, and the other truck was not working. Those who were there, they tried to call Fatwell Fire Department, but unfortunately, no response was found. Later, when there was a file from Fire Chief, even after the fire of the Fire Gird crash reached, it seemed that for some reason, the fire burnt in which 5 children went away from this world. But the case seemed to do more as long as possible, and listening to it was more complicated. The next morning, when the investigation started, the officials also blocked the case by giving such a statement. He said that the children are overdue to the fire. But this was beyond everyone's understanding, because the bones of the human body, rock cannot be formed even at a temperature of 800 degrees Celsius, especially those parts of bones that contain calcium, including human teeth. So how did it happen that not 1, not 2, but 5 children were found in a fire in Sodder's house? Neither bones nor teeth were found, according to the investigation. It was later confirmed that the duration of the fire was not long enough to turn the bones into rock, which was quite alarming. The investigation report was rejected by the Sodder family. As soon as they got up, the investigation team attributed the fire to a short circuit in the kitchen. But George Sodder said that he had recently done all the wiring, and there was no question that it. When George Sodder tried to recall the moments of the accident, he remembered things that indicated something was wrong when he called the fire brigade at the time of the fire, picked up the phone for so his wire was cut. It was also proven that in the investigation that the Sodder's home phone was cut from the ground because its lines are broken apart from the phone line and cutting. This agger does not smoothly in break, but ages are smooth on cutting from the player. After the main man, Jenny Sodder, remembered that the house was at home at 12:30 p.m. and there was a woman who was laughing loudly, on which Jenny said, "The phone that spent the wrong number." If the phone line was killed at 1 a.m. and just got a strange call on it before half. So it means that the phone line was first half of the first time before the fire line. It was filled with strange events. Just a few minutes ago, the phone calls and some fire before the Jones of Jeno heard some fall on the terrace. When the later one did not hear anything, Jenny swallowed up, and after some minutes, smoke was smooth. Also the ladder where the ladder was placed. He was missing from there at the time of the accident, and he was recovered from far away from home. Both of the Gieri's trucks, who were doing the right thing to be a day before. How did both of the time became damaged? Once all these events, it also believed that their children are not dead, but kidapapis are. But how did they run away from them in such a noise, when the investigation answers were not equal to questions? So the theories be born. There is a strange story behind every theory. A few inclusions before this accident, George Sodder came to an insurance agent who was very strongly taking it to take home insurance. But when Sodder prohibited Clean from taking insurance, finally, he agent, Sodder. It was threatened that realization will be there when you will get a fire in your house. Did anyone use the fire to worship people? And at the same time, the child abducted. The other theory, Ye is not good to open the statements against the garage Sodder's Italian dictator. That is why Italian mafia made it its own targeted and took his children to his control. Some people claim to see Separ separately after the fire, a woman said. He said that he saw a child in a hotel with a strange coil. The second reports say that in a car he was seen to take away as many things. It was confirmed that the Sodder's child is not dead due to fire. Then, where they went to the end. After a year of accident, some new proofs come in front of. Investigative team who had told the short circuit due to the fire. He proved wrong. There was a fire in the ventilation. That the fire was intentionally. At that time, a bus driver was passing there, who told that he saw some people throw something like fair bowl. Some months later, when the ice melted, so there was a round object of rubber like home, which is called pineapple bomb. Then Jenny, who was a few minutes ago, he had missed the sound, which came to the roof of the matter on the terrace. Maybe he was the pineapple bomb. George and Jenny had put the answer to the life of my mystery. They did not leave any effects and followed each possible lead. He made a big billboard, in which missing loved pictures of the pictures and a reward. After 20 years, Jenny gets a letter in 1960. This letter is a picture of the letter. Whoever gets enough of his son loves. And let's sorta just wrote that Lou Sodder. I love brother. Frankie, one of the 5 children who wrote, was written, or it was a prank. George and Jenny did a privately projector. Who will investigate the letter? But no lounge of Laus Sodder got no interest. 1 year was done, but it could not bike mystery. George Sodder's death was in 1969. Jenny and his children were alive children. Keeping Your Sister-in-Law sings about the brothers. After the death of George, Jenny did not leave family's house. He made new rooms, flying fingering around the house. In the rest of his life, he always used to dress black clothes due to grief. After the death of Jenny in 1989, family was set to the old billboard that was missing for children, finally removed. What Sodder's children suffer from a tragedy or became part of a large conspiracy. This is a secret that will probably never be solved. We hope our video will also like you and share. Wait for new amazing videos.